when you think of me.
See, that kind of works for us in two ways, right? We're talking about color, and Valentine's Day's coming up. Double whammy. Cindy Dole here, Home Wizards, all about helping you enjoy that home of yours. And I am so glad that you're with me this Saturday. Remember, as you're listening, you can always go back and listen again at the website, cindydole.com. And hopefully you'll also follow me throughout the week where we're talking about all this good stuff. On Facebook, follow Cindy Dole. So now, to color. You know, color can totally do so much. As you know, paint is the cheapest way to transform your home. But before you even get to picking up the can of paint, you got to figure out, well, not only what color do I love, but what are the colors that make you feel a certain way, right? I mean, you may think that you love a color, but then when you have it on the wall or in your house, it doesn't feel right. Or what are the colors that you know, when you go into your closet, you go, that's what I've got to wear because that is going to put me in a good mood on a dreary day. Are you spring? Are you summer? Are you in autumn or winter? Do you love all white and black, or do you go bold and love to blend it with a surprise? And you know, we've been hearing that now this big color for 2011 is Pantone's shade of pink, and you know, who knew? So we're going to talk about all that right now in terms of color psychology. So with me is a color expert who can help us kind of navigate our way through color. Deborah Zimmer with the Paint Quality Institute for Dow. So thanks for being here, Deborah.
Oh, thanks so much, Cindy, for having me on tonight.
You are welcome. So first of all, how did you get so in tune with color? How did you become a color expert?
Oh, boy, that's a great and storied and long-storied question. But I will tell you, I've been working in the world of color and paints for more than 30 years, first as an actual researcher, someone who was developing ingredients that go into a can of paint, and then ultimately on to more of the inspirational and motivational side through our Paint Quality Institute program more than 2 decades ago.
Wow.
And in thinking about paint, the questions that we are asked most often by consumers and professional painters is, gosh, what color should I paint my room? And so to that end, we really had to develop color competency, which leads us to, you know, just a very better understanding of color and design.
Mm-hmm. And color can be so subjective in terms of, you know, how we think we perceive it or feel about. Like, for instance, this Pantone honeysuckle pink that they're saying is all the rage, you know. Well, some people might hear that and go, ooh, I don't know if I want pink in my house. But then when you see it match with their colors, you go, wow, that's going to feel kind of fresh.
Sure, absolutely. And the most important thing to think about when we think about color is that it is a very personal decision. And while even we at PQI put out color trends every year, you know, directions of where we believe paint colors in particular are going, you know, it really comes down to what is it that you like and what are you most comfortable with within that living space.
And really, how we think we feel or like or don't like a color can change as we change because, I mean, look at avocado then and then look at avocado now, you know?
Exactly. Think about that. Think about that combination.
Yeah. So, and it seems that certain colors also have a consistent reputation, though. And what is it that it's about those colors and the moods that we attach to them?
Oh, that's a great question. And I will give you 3 of those colors that sort of people really come to equate with a psychology. And the first is red. And, of course, when we think about red, either as we're wearing it or as we're painting it and applying it to our walls, red tends to increase our heart rate. It actually, in some people, can raise blood pressure, and it certainly can increase appetite.
Oh, hello, McDonald's.
There you go. And think of the many restaurants you go to in the interiors.
Yeah.
Red.
Yeah.
It truly begins to get our heart pumping, so to speak. So lots of folks think of red in that way. Blue, on the other hand, tends to be a very calming, cool color, and really is one that favors those that love nature, love the outdoors, in a similar fashion to green. But most people are drawn to blue, and in actuality, we know that it tends to be the favorite color of males.
Really?
Yes. Yes, most men tend to gravitate towards a blue room.
Okay.
And finally, the other...
I would have guessed they'd say white.
They really tend to gravitate towards blue. And the other color that really is very represented by, again, nature, and of course, that big glowing sun in the sky is yellow. And yellow is a fabulous interior paint color that truly does, feel warm and welcoming, and it's a fabulous color to use in a foyer because it just draws one in. So red, blue, and yellow really tend to be sort of the grounding colors for most people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, and over time, for instance, take blue. It's all about the shade or the hue of it, too. Just last year, the turquoise blue was supposed to be the it color, right?
Yep.
And I guess because, we wanted to feel grounded because of all the chaos with the economy, and now we're feeling happier, so darn it, we're going pink, So I guess...
pink. There you go.
Or whatever they say we're going with, right?
And think about that. Pink is really... can be a tint tone or shade of red.
Mm-hmm.
So, when you think, again, about red from an excitement standpoint, it just sort of falls in line with where we are in thinking about our homes and thinking about our current state of financial affairs.
Mm-hmm.
So we actually see 3 different trend directions happening, and pink is a very important part of one of those.
And why is that?
Well, again, when we look at trends, color trends and consumer trends overall, it is really a combination of what's happening within society, technology, the economy, a host of other factors. And pink tends to be, it tends to be a more optimistic hue.
Mm-hmm.
And so we've incorporated that into our back to basics schemes, which are a lot around the neutrals as well as some of the beautiful pastel tones, such as pink,
mm-hmm.
or even pastel blue.
Which brings me to purple, because the big color for men's shirts this year is lavender. You probably have heard.
Yeah.
It used to be the pink shirt. Now it's the lavender shirt for guys. And in terms of using lavender in your home, whether it's darker purple or lighter purple, that can be kind of tricky, can't it?
You are so right. Purple has always been a very tricky color. Typically, it is the color of choice of children. They just are drawn to purple. But as we mature, we tend to distance ourselves from it. However, that being said, it pops back and forth within our lives over time. And this, 2011, is one of those times when I think we will see much more lavender in use, and coupling that with some of the beautiful greens that have been introduced.
Mm-hmm. How much of color psychology is based on just nature and what we see out there on Earth, and then we want to be around that because we can associate that with different places we've been to, or just the feelings we've had when we've been to the Grand Canyon or we've been to the beach or any of that?
Oh, Cindy, I think you really hit the nail on the head. Whether it is psychology, whether it is sociology, the fact that we are drawn to colors of places we love have been, well tested over time.
Yeah.
I am personally a big beach person, even though I'm staring at, several feet of snow in Philadelphia.
Oh, no.
But, I'm certainly drawn to the colors of a beach. And like you mentioned, many people are drawn to the colors of New Mexico. It, to them, reflects the place they'd like to be, even if it is only mentally. So it plays a very important role. And, of course, culturally, color really has an impact depending on where you've grown up. For instance, in some places, white is the color of purity. It's the color of weddings, and it's the color of new life. In other places around the globe, white may not necessarily be viewed in that fashion. So a lot of it comes from where we were brought up, both psychological standpoint as well as from a geography standpoint.
Culturally, too, right?
Culturally, absolutely.
Uh-huh.
Absolutely.
What about black as a color? I mean, yeah, hey, in L.A., black is our uniform. That's all we wear, and we like to balance that with a little bit of white. But black is huge, and charcoal has been a big color for our homes and in clothing and everywhere this past year. So, what are you thinking about black, and what does that make us feel psychologically if it's such a staple of our wardrobe as a classic color?
Right. And the beauty of black is this. It gives your eye a chance to relax. So our recommendation has been to always incorporate some black within a space. It may only be a lampshade. It may be an interesting grouping of pillows. But black really allows your eye to rest within a space, especially in a space where a lot of color is going on. So black can be, just a terrific accessory in a space, or, as we've seen growing, it can be a great trim color. And in actuality, we're seeing a lot of folks painting their actual broad walls in beautiful black tones.
Mm-hmm. No, I think it's beautiful. I've seen that like in a dining room or even
absolutely.
it can be stunning. Just one wall even, So when we come back, we have more to talk about in terms of the psychology of color. There's so many other colors to think about, but why should you really even care about the psychology of color? I mean, don't you just go out and get what you think you love? Well, maybe you need to figure out what you love first. Home wizard Cindy Dole here. We're back in a bit. Don't you go away.
I was rich as I could be in my coat of many colors my mama made for me.
Paint with all the colors of the rainbow.
We are talking about the colors, all the possibilities, and how it might make you feel in terms of your home and your life. Cindy Dole here, Home Wizards. We have fun every Saturday talking about ways to just improve the spaces you call home, whether it's outside or inside. And when you think about it, when you're outside, all you see is color. And then you go inside and then you look at your closet and you see certain colors, and suddenly a theme begins to come about, and there's a story that's being told, and then how does that work in terms of finding the right color that you put in your rooms to make you feel the way you want to be, right? With me is a woman who knows. She is a color expert who specializes in color psychology with the Paint Quality Institute. Debbie Zimmer, thanks for sharing part of your Saturday with me. Tell me about the snow. Is it still really bad out there in Philadelphia?
Well, it's not tremendously bad today. I was listening during the commercial break to your wonderful weather conditions.
Sorry about that. We meant to mute you on that.
Probably about 26 degrees, and we still have about a foot of snow on the ground.
Wow. Well, I hope you guys have better conditions, because I know it's been really hairy for the past couple weeks.
But it's a wonderful time to paint the interior of your house.
Yeah. The glass is half full, not half empty, right? All right. Well, let's talk about overall just the color trend thing. I have my copy of House Beautiful here with me, and on the cover it says, "The power of pink. It's warm, it's flattering, it's sexy," and in parentheses, "and men love it." Really?
Well, that I think if I would check with everyone living within the house, how they feel about pink, but men certainly have become much more positively focused on pink as a hue.
I mean, it's like quiche, right? We're kind of okay with it.
Exactly. They're certainly moving more towards that direction. But there's still lots of ways to incorporate beautiful colors like pink within a home without it being too overwhelming for anyone living within the space.
All right. Well, how about orange? I'm a fan of orange. I don't know what it is. It just always just makes me feel good, and I have a pretty neat shade of it. It's kind of it's not bright orange, but it has a little terracotta blend to it, and it's in our kitchen, and it makes me feel energized, and I'm chopping away, and I'm cooking up a storm, and I just love it.
Oh, orange is very similar to yellow in that it is, again, on the warm side of the color wheel, and certainly warms up a space in a kitchen is absolutely perfect for orange. And we've seen We've seen orange move to a more muddied kind of color, just like you said, with a little terracotta tossed in.
Mm-hmm.
And it can be just an absolutely wonderful hue to use in that space.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad you like yellow or orange.
I do, and I also see in this House Beautiful magazine, they're doing a whole thing on all this color, and you're seeing, they're calling it Colors of India, and that's where the orange comes in along with the pinks and all these bright jewel tones, and I guess there really is a lot of sensory overload with that, and how does that impact us psychologically when we have that in our home?
Well, that's a really great question, because overuse of color can also be disquieting, and to that end, we see folks who have been using color in their spaces in bright, vivid ways, sort of moving now more towards neutral tones.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, one of the biggest trends going forward is the use of soft whites and very pale tans intermixed with black.
Mm-hmm.
And beautiful dark-toned wood floors.
Oh, I love those dark.
And that combination allows for sensory quiet.
Uh-huh.
Now, that's not to say it needs to be boring, and through the seasons, you can certainly intermix some of those beautiful jewel tone colors within that space, again, depending on the time of year.
Mm-hmm. Well, beyond our home, I mean, I'm working on some website improvements and revisions. And I mean, there's so much about color in terms of the web. And when you think of the simplicity of, let's say, Google or even Facebook, it's white with a little blue, or Google, it's all white, and then they have, the rainbow colors on their classic logo, and
Mm-hmm.
and then when you think of other websites and how is that going to draw you in? It's all about, I guess, what your brand is and what you're trying to do, but it kind of relates to the home too. I mean, it just really, does it make you want to stay, or does it want to make you just get out of there real fast?
Right. Is it fight or flight?
Uh-huh.
What are you going to do?
Yeah.
Yeah, and and most homeowners really opt for that more relaxed, softer hued space. Now, that may not always be a great thing, because many homeowners are very, very fearful of color, and we actually call them color challenged.
Oh,
they just cannot make that decision.
Well, I think that we're getting better, we're getting braver, but then once you decide that you want to, make that change, then it's like, okay, but which one? Because there's so many to choose from. You're afraid you're going to make a mistake, even though, I mean, face it, it's just a coat of paint, but still you're making a commitment to maybe other rooms and, furniture and fabrics, and it kind of gets overwhelming.
Yes, and you brought up the best point that I offer homeowners who contact us, and that is, it is only a can of paint. It is only a few hours of your time if you're a do-it-yourselfer. So the best thing to do is to really go out and purchase a variety of tints, tones, and shades in the favorite hue. So whether it's a red, a blue, a green, a yellow, and try them out in that space, because truly your interior lighting plays a huge role in how it will really appear in that space. And I often think that homeowners don't necessarily understand or are cognizant of the fact that light coming in from small windows, big windows, from some of the newer light bulb technologies really will change that space. Mm-hmm. So, it's best to test it in the room in which you will be employing that color.
And I think it's nice to look good in your home. I know that sounds kind of silly,
well,
but
candlelight.
Yeah,
absolutely.
but you want the paint color to. I mean, I think that's no coincidence. If there's certain colors that you're wearing, and those are the same kind of colors on your wall, chances are that they're going to just make you look like you're, healthy and alive, as opposed to, just drawn out. There's like no color in your skin because you have the wrong color on the walls.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think that's an excellent point. And one way to provide a little bit of color bounce within the space, Cindy, is to have your listeners think about, well, what is the shine? What is the gloss level of the paint I'm using?
Mm-hmm.
So as an example, you could be painting your dining room in a magnificent combination of black and cream and decide to paint your ceiling with a very high gloss finish. And so it relates, again, to exactly what you said. It makes you look good because of the way your dining room chandelier or lighting reflects off that shinier surface.
Yeah.
So it's a great little trick to try at home.
Excellent. And there's so many apps that are out there now to help us visualize paint.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
It is pretty remarkable you mentioned that, because today I learned that our brand new free color app is available from iTunes. So if you have an iPhone and you want to download our new color app that actually allows you to test different colors within a space, it is now available, and it's called Color Decor.
Color Decor. Okay.
Color Decor.
Okay.
So it will take you through all of the various color schemes, monochromatic, complementary, triadic, just as sort of a learning, and then you can actually choose rooms and add and change color right within that space. So it's a lot of fun, and the best part about it is in fact free.
Yeah. Well, there's so many apps for the home. I mean, it really has become an essential tool for no matter what project we're launching into. But Deborah, I just wanted to say thank you for sharing your thoughts and your wisdom with us, and we can tell everyone to go to your website, which is paintquality.com. And Deborah Zimmer, you hang in there with that snow, and we'll talk to you again soon, okay?
Okay, Cindy, thanks so much for having me on.
Absolutely. You have a good one now. All right. Well, boy, this is coming to a close. It always goes by so fast. I hope you had fun listening today and got a lot out of the show. And I hope that you will try some of these great apps. I mean, there really are a ton of them to make your life easier. Like, for instance, if you need to measure something in a pinch, they have this thing called the Ruler 2, and it's a 99 center, but it's very, very cool. Let's see what else. If you have a very complex job, they have the iHandy Carpenter app. Oh, it just goes on. And of course, we're talking about the color for the interior design tools. So I'll have it all on the website at cindydole.com. Now, so coming up next Saturday, we have more great stuff to talk about. We're going to have several designers on to help us really get ready for the rest of the year and discover what is our inspiration and where do we go from here for the rest of our home for the year, because now the economy is turning around. We want to do something special. What should that be? What could it be? We're going to help you find the real you for your home coming up next Saturday from 2 to 4 here on KFWB. Now, remember, Valentine's Day is Monday, so I'm leaving you with one of my favorite love songs, Adam Sandler Rocks. You have a great weekend. Enjoy it. And until next time, remember this. The key is under the mat. Bye-bye.
I'll get you medicine when your tummy aches. Build you a fire if the furnace breaks. Oh, it could be so nice growing old.